This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association. Your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley Smith.
Good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Tuesday, September 12th, 2023. We're so glad you could join us for today's show. In today's episode, I talk with David Brennen of Case IH about their early riser planters. We also have a check of that ag weather outlook, but first, let's run down the markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day in the ag marketplace, we're talking with Jacob Burks of agmarket.net. Jacob, today being a WASDE day, what do we see in the grain markets?
Saw some negativity. We saw the USDA come out and say, hey, we're not only going to decrease what we're looking at for yields. We lowered the yield of 1.3 bushels per acre, but we're also going to increase what we actually planted. And so you remember how that kind of went in March. We missed the expectation was about 91 million acres. They came out with 92, and then in June we were a little bit bigger as well. So it was kind of a shock to the market then. And then we look at this number that we typically see. FSA numbers come into the fold in October's report. We had them; they were earlier. They added them to the USDA balance sheet this September report, and it added about 800,000 acres to the fold. And it was quite a shock to the market at the beginning. When I say quite a shock, I mean we've seen reports that pushed us lower. We only went 10 to 12 lower throughout the day. I think we're going to settle up here about 8 or 9 lower. So the markets had a lot of this expected increase in or decrease in yield factored in, but it just it wasn't enough to stimulate what's kind of weighing on the market, and that's the lack of demand.
Right, and then at this time of year, or really just this time of month anyways, going into the harvest season, this is when we put our harvest lows in anyways, right?
Yeah, it's really hard to rally the market at the end of August and going into September. I mean, so that's just, I think it's 17 and 18. We saw the very low tick of the day was that August 31st. And so, to see this market struggle a little bit, have some pullbacks during the end of August, 1st of September, I think is not a surprise. The surprising part is we typically don't have extreme drought conditions across a large part of the country whenever that's going on. And so the market, if you get on social media and see the back and forth, the banter back and forth is what's out there, and you don't have a lot of experience to seeing how the crop finishes up with these type of conditions. And so there's a lot of guesstimates and estimates and talk and rhetoric about what this yield is going to be like. But we said a lot that the combine doesn't lie, and we're going to have to wait and see what we actually get out of this thing when the combines do get up here in the Midwest.
And you mentioned, of course, lack of demand being a big factor right now, and those export numbers dropping in the report today. And obviously, it's very difficult to predict demand because if you and I could ask China and know what they're thinking on their exports, we'd be a lot richer and probably not sitting here talking right now. But are we worried about maybe continued issues with that export demand and just that demand picture in general?
Well, we're sitting here talking about the lack of demand, and the USDA does not agree with us. They actually didn't cut anything in the corn side of things today, so they left the exports alone. Demand picture stayed exactly the same, which was a surprise to me personally. What they did do is they went and cut the demand. They cut the exports for soybeans. They cut the crush for soybeans, and so that was I felt like a shock to me and to the market a little bit. So we're watching the beans pull back 24 cents. I don't know if a lot of that is more so on the increasing demand, decreasing the yield. I don't know that we're down 24 cents on that. I almost feel like we're down 24 cents in the soybeans because a little bit of the traders unwinding the spreads between what they put in for beans, wheat, those type of spreads as of late. So this market has been very, very quiet traded that hasn't been very high volumes. So sometimes you get a lot of the things that normally happen in a marketplace that don't really happen whenever you see lighter volume.
And of course, grain's the big story today, but what do we see on the livestock markets as well?
Live cattle were pretty quiet here today. We were mixed across the bag. We traded 2 to 3 cent. We traded probably $2.50 range there in the cattle. Feeder cattle were down $1.50 at one point and became steady. I think the feeder cattle liked the idea that the corn market was making another push lower. You saw some feed ingredients cheaper, but the big story of the day was $2.70 higher in the front months of the hog market. And the hog market has created some stagnant market trade because of the instability in what we see in the products. And the products have been just not consistent. So you really hadn't had a directional trade, and it's been back and forth. And the cash market found a little bit of stability in the hogs. We traded up above the 85-cent level today in the front months, and so I think that was the story of the day in the proteins.
Lots of great information today, Jacob. For those of our listeners and our viewers who would like to get in touch and learn more from the folks at agmarket.net, how can they do that?
You can just take a look at agmarket.net. Find us on the website there. Take a look at our 30-day free trial that we have of our Intel. Gets all of our content, all of our material comes straight to your inbox. Just look there, and we'd love to chat with you.
Great talking with you as always, Jacob, and we look forward to hearing some more analysis from you again soon.
Hey, thanks for having me, Riley. Appreciate it.
That again was Jacob Burks of agmarket.net. We'll go ahead and take a look at how those numbers close. That's courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. December corn is down 9 1/4 at 476.5. November soybeans down 22.5 at 1346.5. December soybean meal down 680 at 398.10. Soybean oil down 43 at 60.07. Chicago wheat up 3 even at 587.5. Minneapolis spring wheat up 12 1/4 at 779 even. Kansas City hard red wheat up 7 even at 730 3/4. December oats up 2 1/4 at 495.5. On the Merc, October live cattle down 7 cents at 184.15. September feeders down 90 at 255.32. October lean hogs up 272 at 85.27. October pork cutout up 205 at 95.90. October class 3 milk down 43 cents at 18.07. And that's been a check of the markets here on Ag Matters PM. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, I talk with David Brennen of Case IH. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. This year at the Farm Progress Show in Decatur, Illinois, I had the chance to stop by the Case IH display, talk with David Brennen about the Early Riser Planter Series and some of the very adaptable options that they can put onto those planters. We're here at the Farm Progress Show in Decatur, Illinois, talking with David Brennen. He's Planter Marketing Manager with Case IH. We're standing right in front of, right now, an Early Riser planter, this being the 11-row configuration. Now, obviously, to farmers who are in the Midwest, probably not a super popular configuration to have on their planter, but as we talked before we got the camera rolling, this is more for maybe other farmers who have narrower areas to go through. You talk coastal areas, and really just kind of fits, going for an operation of any size, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Operation of any size. It's fast to fold, unfold, or raise and lower. I say from plant to transport position. So very, very quick in terms of converting back and forth. Good for a farmer with smaller than average, I'll say, field sizes. So while it may not be in central Iowa or central Illinois, it's definitely in a lot of places not too terribly far away.
Yeah, exactly. And it kind of fits. You mentioned earlier of those farmers would have to retrofit their planters and kind of home make and get it down to what they wanted it to be. Well, now they just have the option to buy it right here.
Yeah, absolutely. So growers historically in this rigid trailing configuration, a 6-row 30, 8-row 30, or what we see here, the 11-row 15-inch, had to source that technology from maybe multiple vendors. So that complicates the warranty side of it, the service side, all of those things. We're going to roll that into one package direct from the factory.
Yeah, exactly. And then just walk us through a bit of the features on this, because you mentioned that there are several features to these planters that aren't on display here today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we've got these smaller, I'll say, frame size planters, and so those growers are typically mixed revenue, right? So they've got livestock, so they're doing chores in the morning, then they go out and work in their row crop during the day to feed that livestock. And so we know productivity is key for those guys. So onboard seed carrying capability here, a 3-bushel hopper is going to be standard equipment on the 11 row, optional on the 6 and 8 row. And then we understand nutrients, right? Applying those nutrients to that crop is important. So we've got dry fertilizer option, popular in certain areas, and we understand that rate can be fairly high. And so we've got 6,000 pounds of carrying capacity for dry fertilizer on the 6 row and 8 row, and then liquid fertilizer at 500 gallons of carrying capacity on both the 6 and 8 row there as well. So productivity increases because of that onboard capacity.
Right, exactly. And then if we were to see those on here, where exactly would we see the capacity for, say, the liquid fertilizer on this planter?
Yeah, absolutely. So you look at real estate on this planter and you think about now we want to carry that weight between the planter and the tractor, right? And so those are going to be forward frame mounted designs. So just ahead of those row units, ahead of that toolbar, subframe installed, and we're going to have those fertilizer tanks mounted on that location, again, to distribute that weight between planter tractor.
And are there any other, thinking of the tech that's on other planters on Case IH, are there any other of those features that could be brought onto the early riser planter?
Yeah, so you bring up, all those high-tech features. That 2000 series planter came out back in 2016, brought with it a lot of unique and high-tech features. Think things like in-cab control of the closing system. Hey, we've got this on the 2120. In-cab control of the residue managers. Hey, we got that option on the 2120. Things like that are very unique to this frame design, even amongst all the competition in the marketplace, is things like advanced vacuum control, so speed-adjusted vacuum control that will increase as I increase my ground speed. So high-tech features throughout on the 2120.
All right, and is there anything else when it comes to the early riser lineup of planters through Case IH that our listeners and viewers should know about today?
Well, I think, we've got a sticker on the side of that planter, a decal, if you will, that says agronomic design, and it's there for a reason. Agronomic design to us at Case IH means that every seed, every soil type, it's important to growers and to their bottom line. And so that row unit we've got is agronomically designed to place seed accurately and to get that uniform, early, even emergence. That's why it says early riser on the side of that planter. It means something. And so all of those row unit pieces and features really promote that uniform, early, even emergence. And that's why we've got early riser on the name of the side of the planter.
David, lots of great information today for those of our listeners who would like to get in touch and learn more about the early riser planter. Anything else Case IH, how can they do that?
Yeah, so absolutely. First would be visit your local Case IH dealer and also caseih.com. Great resource there for all of the newest information on the early riser planter lineup.
That again was David Brennen of Case IH. As for right now, let's go ahead and take a look at that ag weather outlook. If there were any doubts that Labor Day weekend marked the beginning of fall, you look at the temperatures and you can really see it because we are seeing some very beautiful temperatures right now, ranging into those 70s, almost to 80. Occasionally we get down even into the upper 60 range. Now in the northern parts of the state, you do have a chance, very slight chance for some isolated rain or showers, but otherwise just sunny skies and not much you complain about. So let's see what the National Weather Service has in store for the next 24 hours. As you can see from the National Weather Service, we have chances for rain in the north today. Otherwise, it's another sunny day, highs ranging from the low to mid-70s. Tonight will be mostly clear with isolated showers moving east through the state. Lows overnight ranging from the mid-40s to low 50s. And tomorrow, mostly sunny skies across the state, highs ranging from the low to upper 70s. And taking a look at the affiliate weather map for tomorrow, Cherokee will be mostly sunny with a high of 77. Shenandoah sunny and 78, Des Moines sunny and 76, Waterloo sunny and 72, Albia sunny and 76, and Clinton will see mostly sunny skies with a high around 71. For more detailed forecasts in your part of the state, make sure to check in with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. That's been a check of the Ag Weather Outlook, and that also brings us to the end of this episode of Ag Matters PM. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and LinkedIn. You can also find our video content as well as previous episodes of AMPM on our YouTube channel. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell to see when those videos go live. Don't forget as well our free Twice Daily Market podcasts on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of Mark Magnuson and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.